Hey, most gun owners don't do anything to protect their self-defense rights. I don't know why, but you can change that and become a member of the San Diego County Gun Owners. We make activism easy. Join today because we cannot do it alone. Go to SDCGO.org/join. Sign up to be a member today. Together we will win, and it's $10. You can't buy breakfast for $10.
You really can't.
You really can't, dude.
You can't buy breakfast for $10 anymore.
I went to Point Loma Seafood last night for dinner.
Yeah.
Because the wife was someplace with dogs, doing a dog show.
Yeah.
$27 for a fish sandwich.
It's unreal. I don't know I was talking to a restaurant owner over the weekend, and he was telling me, he said, consumers don't know how bad it is.
No, they do. They don't.
They don't know how much, restaurants aren't a big profit. There's not a big
Never
profit
have
margin. And he said it is eaten into their profit. Because I asked him, I said, now, did you go back and evaluate your menu and say, we got to do this dish rather than that dish because it's cheaper? And he said, no. He said, it's not really.
Well, you can't.
Can't really do that, he said. But he said it just, all it does is it eats into his profit margin, which means that if someone leaves, which, restaurants, a lot of turnover.
A lot of turnover.
Someone leaves, they don't hire somebody back.
Well, let me give you a better one. So
Which is just literally destroying jobs.
I'm sitting at your favorite restaurant, Janet's, having breakfast.
I love Janet's.
And there's 6 people sitting next to me.
The pecan pie.
Oh, yeah. I even had a piece just for you.
There you go.
So six guys,
people next to you.
6 guys sitting there, and they're discussing the tip. Okay, average breakfast, $20, right?
Yeah.
So 6 times 20, do the math.
I can't do that kind of math.
And the guy goes, geez, I don't want to give her a $20 bill. I wonder if anybody got change?
Yeah.
I almost came out of my chair.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, but you can't really blame it on him. That dude's trying to, live his life.
Yeah, but this poor waitress,
I understand.
hauled all that food.
But you and the guy and the waitress need to blame California. You need,
we can't
to blame Sacramento.
Oh, no, we can't blame.
I was going to say we got to watch Reservoir Dogs and see that one Steve Buscemi line about the tipping part. Yeah, that's right. A classic.
Yeah, you need to find it and bring it up. Anyway,
okay.
So how you doing?
Good, man. I'm doing well. We got a cool show.
You got a new watch?
We're going to talk about that in a little later.
I'm not talking about it.
We are. We're going to talk about it. It's not mine.
I didn't get it.
We're going to do a watch review.
You going to give it away?
Cool. We're not going to talk about it. I don't know. Let's see how
I might win it.
Let's see how the review goes.
Okay, let's see. Well, so far you haven't been able to get it to work.
Well,
but that's another story.
I looked at it for 3 seconds. Look, we're not talking about watches right now. Okay, so first off, Q&A. I get all kinds of questions, Dave.
Yes, you do.
And seriously, all week. I get phone calls, texts, emails.
Do you really?
All week asking questions. And I decided, you know what? If these a lot of same questions keep popping up. So I decided
we don't open the phone lines, so this is a good thing.
It's a good thing, but it gets good information out there, number one. Now, here's the thing. I may end up answering the same question over and over again every week because I'm not going to keep check.
Right.
As the questions come in, I'm just going to answer them. I'm not sure if we answered this one or not, but anyway, here we go. This person wants to know, why are all of our memberships auto-renew? Okay, good question. All of our memberships are not auto-renew. You can actually
no, you have to push the button.
You have to decide, but we prefer it. It favors auto-renew. It's very easy to select auto-renew without realizing that that's what you did. There's no way for us to charge you again unless you pick auto renew. Even if you call us up and say, "Hey, I just donated $100 last month. I'd like to just donate another $100 this month." Okay, I don't have your credit card information.
Right.
So you have to actually go in and make that donation again. The only thing we do, and it's actually a third party, is you can select auto renew. So that, okay, I gave $100 last February. I want to make sure that it just automatically renews, so I keep my membership up, and it'll do it again.
You're preaching to the choir.
Or $10. Well, I'm just explaining.
Yeah.
So you don't have to select
because you can't
auto-renew.
invoice somebody every month for them to renew.
Well, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is why. Why do we want you to like auto renew? Because we are closing in on 4,000 members in San Diego. We have 3,907 members or something like that.
Are we going to have a party?
I don't know. I think we'll have a party at 5,000.
Okay.
I'm
ready.
So 4,000, what if we didn't have auto renew?
Duh.
One of two things. You either want us spending our time and our money on doing political stuff.
Right.
Or you want us spending our time and money on calling people and say, "Hey, man, we need another $10 this month. How about we get your," you know what I mean? So if you want us to be a more efficient, effective organization, then please select auto.
And it's $10.
Well, it's $10 a month, $100 per year. You can auto renew both,
and get great benefits.
Get great. Well, the biggest thing we do is we are effective when it comes to your Second Amendment rights. We have a long
and that's
list
really what it's about.
Okay, that's the first question. Okay. So auto renew. You don't have to have auto renew, but we prefer it. We make it easy, and please, please, please select auto renew because it takes a ton of time for us to change. Hey, calling you again. I just wanted to see if you wanted to renew.
It takes me a ton of time if I have to do it monthly and say, okay, I got to remember to renew.
But I mean, so all that time, if I got to call 100 people a day, let's say I got to call 100 people a day. When am I going to go talk to politicians? Right. When am I going to go do interviews with the media?
All right.
When am I going to get, so, okay. All right. So that's auto renew. How has the sheriff done? It's been about a year now, I think. What would you say her record is? Okay, good question. So Sheriff Martinez. It's actually been just over a year. It's been a year and like 3 months. So she was elected in November of 2022. She didn't actually take office until January of 2023. We're now in, April of 2024. So it's just been over a year
and a couple of months.
How has she done? She's done an excellent job. She's done everything that we've asked her to do. When she took office, the approval rating, the issue, the number of CCWs issued, 150 to 200 a month. 200 was like a good month. She brought that up to 600. At one point, it was 700 a month. So going from 150 to 200 a month to 600 to 700 a month, exceeding expectations.
But people still think it takes forever.
Well, it does take forever. But why does it take forever? There's a couple reasons. It takes forever because, one, the Bruin decision came in, and that was such a huge billboard for, hey, come and get your CCW.
That's true.
And there were a lot of people that just were like, hey, I'm not going to, even though it's no big deal to write a good cause, I don't want to write a good cause. Even though everybody was already getting their CCW, there were certain people that were just stubborn. Fine. Wait a long time to get your CCW, whatever. So that really, really caused a backup. Now, what's being done about the backup? Well, what's being done about the backup is, one, she's securing more funding. Now, remember, the sheriff doesn't come around and tax you. The county, they come around and tax you. She has to go to 5 people, 3 Democrats and 2 Republicans right now, and say, hey, I need more money. I need more money. And not only that, but she has to say, I need more money for next year. So any money, so it's not like they can just cut her a check right now. So all the money she asks for this year, she gets next year. So she's asking for more money. She's going to spin off a CCW unit, so that it's just dedicated employees doing nothing but CCWs rather than, it's just being a piece of licensing. It's going to be its own unit. The other thing that they've done is they didn't like Permitium. They came up with a new application that is happening right now. You're going to see more details on that. That takes the place of Permitium, that will be far more efficient. So they're going to become more efficient. They're going to put more employees on it. But, man, it's government. You can't solve the problem in a year.
Exactly.
So she's done everything. The other thing, Dave, remember when SB2 passed, most of the other counties said, well, sorry, you got to, we're not going to do anything for you as far as the CCW instructors. Some of the most pro-Second Amendment, red-blooded Republican sheriffs said, well, you got to comply. Sorry, we're not going to help you out in any way. Sink or swim. She said, no, we're not doing that. So sheriff's done an excellent job. An excellent job.
You know another proof of doing an excellent job?
What's that?
He's asking the question because he doesn't know. Hey, if you ever have a legal matter that involves firearms, you need California's best firearm lawyer, and that means John Dillon. John Dillon specializes in California gun laws, so put his number on your phone right now. 760-642-7150. That's John Dillon, California firearms lawyer. 760-642-7150. Put his number on your phone right now.
I know the first segment's supposed to be Q&A, but I got one more Q.
Sure.
I got a. This comes in from, I don't know how to say this, Agent B-Face.
That'll work.
AGNBFACE. Thank you for sending the question. I have a question, he writes, as I'm sure a million other people do. So I left California and now live in a different state. I am a prohibited person, but got an expungement in this state, am I able to buy or process a firearm? Okay, good question. Okay, so there's two kinds of people in the world. There's prohibited and there's not prohibited. Prohibited people cannot purchase a firearm. They can't handle a firearm. They can't have or possess.
Period.
Period.
Okay.
So they are prohibited.
Okay.
Now, there are a number of ways to be prohibited. The most common is that you're a felon. It doesn't necessarily mean, violent felony, or it can be any kind of felony. Mm-hmm. One of the other ways, though, is if you have a dishonorable discharge from the military. That's another way you can be a prohibited person.
Oh, really?
But in California, a few years ago, kind of part of this whole woke left thing is that they don't like felonies. And the reason they don't like felonies is because a felony will screw up your life.
Right.
So as part of the whole criminal justice reform push, rather than solve the problem and figure out, hey, why are so many people deciding to commit a felony? Rather than do that, they said, well, we don't like felonies. Felonies ruin people's lives, and that ruins communities. Right. And they got a point. A felony does ruin a person's life, and that does ruin communities. If you have an entire generation of males who disappear because they're felons, or they can't get jobs because they're felons, you bet that's going to affect your community. But the solution, of course, is debatable. Okay, so here's the answer to the question, though. If you are a prohibited person, so where was I going with that? By the way, so in California, you can be a prohibited person without being a felon, without being someone who was dishonorably discharged. So what they did is they started looking at different misdemeanors and saying, okay, this is a misdemeanor, it's not a felony, but we're going to apply many of the same penalties that a felony has. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
But it's typical.
So we're going to take this word and redefine it, and then everybody feels better. It didn't solve the problem, Dave.
No, you're still
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Well, you're still prohibited. You still have many of the same, you still cause some kind of crime.
And you still can't buy a gun.
You're still looked at as, it's ridiculous. And, of course, the first penalty, the first felony penalty that they applied to these non-felony offenses had to do with firearms, right? Because it's California, and California legislators hate firearms.
Right.
Okay, so if you are a felon, if you commit a felony, or let me put it a different way. Well, actually, that's a good way to go. If you're a felon, you committed a felony, you're a felon in one state. You're a felon in all states. If you're a felon in all states, you're a prohibited person. Period. Done. So, even if California says XYZ offense is a felony, but in Florida it's a misdemeanor, you're still a felon.
Right.
Okay. So, this person they said they're a prohibited person, though.
Yeah, but then he got a sponge bath.
Yeah, he got a sponge bath. Let's just go back and read this. I left California and now live in a different state. I am a prohibited person, but got an expungement in this state. Am I able to buy or possibly? So the reality is this: if you've gone through some kind of process, whether you're a felon, whether you're a misdemeanor, whatever you are, if you've gone through some kind of process, and it could be, you got it expunged, you pardoned.
And what does that mean?
Expunged basically means, well, look, I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice. Always make sure that you go talk to a lawyer.
John Dillon.
Blah, 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 blah. So, but in essence, if they expunge it, they kind of, they're
wipe it away.
Yeah, they're not saying you're not guilty. They're not saying you are guilty. They're just kind of going, we're just going to pretend like this didn't happen. We're not going to make you face any of the penalties that comes with this. The most common is if you did something when you're
in your teens,
and you're under 18, and then they, now you're an adult, and you went through a program, they don't want to ruin your life, we're going to expunge it, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that's what he did, but the bottom line is this: no matter what it is, no matter if you're a felon, not a felon, but if you're a prohibited person, you've done something to make sure that you're no longer a prohibited person, then you're not a prohibited person. So what he needs to do, and what everybody needs to do, is you need to talk to an attorney. And you need that attorney to research and figure out, are you or are you not a prohibited person?
Right.
In California, that would be basically getting the attorney to talk to the California Department of Justice.
Right.
Is there a way you can do it on your own without going through an attorney? Absolutely. Would I recommend that you not go through an attorney? No, I wouldn't.
No,
Go
I
through the
wouldn't
attorney.
even Go through attorney.
Pay their $400 an hour or whatever.
Or could you just go down to a gun shop and buy a gun and see what happens?
So, okay, so what's the problem with that? If you're a felon, if you're a prohibited person and you go in and try to buy a gun, that's a violation, right?
But if
that's illegal.
But if he's expunged, wouldn't that not be in his record?
Then it's fine. But what I'm saying is, if you're not sure if you're a felon or not, if you're not sure you're a prohibited person, the worst way to find out is to go try and buy a gun. Now, I got to tell you, it's so horrible. These background checks and 10-day wait periods and blah-blah-blah-blah-blah. They're so lame that you're probably not going to get caught. But the thing is, you don't want to break the law.
Right.
So you don't want to just go, let's see,
Hey, let me try this, see if it
let me
works.
see if I try it. No, don't do that. Because if you're a prohibited person, it is a felony to try to buy a gun.
Yeah, that was a loaded question, by the way.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Why does everybody always say no pun intended?
I don't know.
I think we should start intending puns.
You said it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
I did. So
I was
did I.
kinda
That's
making
why I
fun of-
said it.
I think we should stop being so afraid of puns.
I think we should just stop being afraid.
Stop being afraid. I'm not afraid anymore.
Yeah, start packing.
So, by the way, it's actually a really good time to talk about. Somebody came to our meeting, and they had a question. They described themselves as she described herself. I'm not going to give her name or anything, but she described herself as a marijuana connoisseur, and she was serious.
Really?
It's something she does.
Did you get her name?
No, no. I'm not a connoisseur of marijuana.
The weed. Well, it's
No.
420 Saturday. You need to know that, don't you?
Yeah, I don't.
didn't celebrate?
It's not my thing. I don't really care. But she does, and she takes it seriously. And that's fine. I mean, to her, I got the very distinct feeling that to her, marijuana is like, some people are fans of different IPAs and beer. Some
And
people are
wine.
fans of wine.
Yeah,
and some
right.
people are really into, are foodies. Yeah. And she was into marijuana.
Well, because there are so many different strains out there.
That's what I hear. I don't know. But that's, So here's what she did. She went out of town. She was in another state. The other state, so marijuana is legal in California.
State-wise, not federal.
State. It's legal
statewide.
It's California. There is no, according to the state of California, you can have marijuana. You
Right.
can use it. You can buy it. That's not every state.
No.
So if you take all your little marijuana samples into a state where it's not
good.
legal,
Not good.
so she got caught.
Yeah.
My understanding is she didn't get any kind of conviction, but she still got like a ticket or a slap on the wrist or something like that.
Yeah, it's a pretty good fine.
So here's what happened, though. She comes back to California. About 2 years after this happened, the police department showed up on her doorstep, 6 of them, and said, "Hey, we're here to take all your guns." Can you believe that?
Really?
Because, like you said,
It's a federal offense.
right, federally, marijuana is not legal.
That's right.
It's still a
They took
controlled
all
substance.
her guns.
Well, she got out of it. And now here's the thing. And again, I'm not an attorney. It's not legal advice.
Yeah.
I'm not an attorney. You got to go talk to an attorney. They have to be a licensed attorney. I'm not that. But there've been some lawsuits and there've been some victories that basically say no. You can't. If it's legal, it's legal. You can't take somebody's right to keep and bear arms if they're doing something. If they're smoking pot, basically.
Right. Or just carrying it. Really. They didn't catch her smoking it.
They didn't expect. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So they didn't take her guns. She's not a prohibited person on the state level, but according to the federal government, if you're using marijuana,
Right.
then you're a prohibited person.
So did they make her a prohibited person?
No, there was a big, long discussion, and they decided to leave it alone. But she came to the meeting saying, "I don't know what to do."
Well, somebody had to have turned her in. I mean, the cops just don't.
No. Yeah, they do. So here's what happens. So there's a system in California where basically, so all these systems talk to each other, right? So if you get if you get pulled over in Wyoming, they can see everything you did in California. So all these systems talk to each other. So the California has a system that basically scans the system and says, "Hey, we need to find everybody who has a gun who has done something to make them a prohibited person." So it sends up a red flag, and eventually the jackboots get this,
and we go talk to Mary Jane.
And they get 6 people with guns to go and they go talk to Mary Jane. They go down and they say, "Hey, we need all your guns." So we're going to hook her up with an attorney, and the attorney's going to help her get this all squared away.
Are they still pursuing this?
She said it's been a while, but man, don't risk it. She said, I don't know how serious it is. I said, you had 6 cops on your doorstep. That's how serious it is. That's pretty serious.
That's super serious. I mean,
But I got to tell you, this is one of those issues, people give me a hard time for not being partisan. And the Republicans haven't fixed this.
No.
The Democrats haven't fixed this.
This is another tool in their toolbox, folks.
It is. And I think that here's the thing, is it's pot and guns, right?
Right.
So Democrats hate guns.
Right.
And Republicans hate pot. So why would they fix this problem?
Right.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
People are going to jail. People are getting their rights taken away. But I don't see the Republicans doing anything about it. I don't see the Democrats doing anything about it.
No.
I've long said it is tougher to be a gun owner in California than anything else.
Yeah. You'd have better luck being a crook.
You'd have more rights.
You'd have more. Well, you would. I mean, you really would.
You'd have more help. It's harder to be a gun owner in California than it is to be a homeowner.
Oh, yeah.
You pick the political hot button, and people, I talk about how, hey, this is a civil right. This is a civil right fight. Well, it's not like they're going door to door and putting people in jail. Yeah, they are.
Well, yeah. This
Yeah,
one,
they are.
she just happened to come up on the rotating list.
For what? You know what I mean? For owning a gun.
Okay, we got to go see Mary Jane because she got busted
Right.
for pot.
Right.
And she has guns. Has she used any of them? No, of course not. But we have to go take them.
Right. And, everybody the Republicans tell me they're all for my civil rights. And the Democrats tell me they're all for my civil rights. Okay, well, no, you're not.
No, you're not.
Not until you prove it, and they certainly haven't proven it.
They have not even
So
tried.
I'm not, and by the way, I'm not pro pot at all, Dave. I've never
know.
touched it. I grew up in Florida, Hawaii, and California, and somehow never tried pot.
Hey, you want to learn to fly?
Yes, I do.
I think you should. You can get your pilot's license in San Diego. It is one of the best places to get your airplane pilot's license because pilots can fly almost every day. And San Diego Flight Training International is the best school to get your license. You can give them a call at 858-569-1822, or you can learn to fly at STFTI. That's 858-569-1822.
Okay, so we got one more question.
Yeah, we had to do it.
There's like a backflow here of questions.
Right. One of our loyal listeners said that he had bought the last 2 guns he had bought.
Mm-hmm.
He brought, the state made him wait 30 days. They said they didn't approve me or disapprove me, but the gun store can release it to me after 30 days if they want to.
Okay, so
Why
basically
is that?
he bought a gun.
2.
He bought a gun or 2. He bought a gun. Let's just say you go buy a gun, and you got to go through a background check. And you have to have a 10-day wait period.
Right.
Now that background check takes 47 seconds.
Right.
It's not. They can do an instant background check. So but you still have to wait 10 days.
Right.
Okay. That 10-day wait, people think like, oh, it takes 10 days to do a background check. No, it doesn't. The 10-day wait period is this cooling off period, which is
thinking that you're angry and you're going to buy it to possibly go.
That's how it was sold. Now, that doesn't make any sense. We actually have a lawsuit trying to get rid of that for people who have a gun.
Because in Texas, you just go in and buy the gun.
In like 47 other states or something like
Or
that. You just go in
49,
and buy a
anyway.
gun. But does it make any sense to make you? Why is there a cooling off period for someone who already owns a gun? It doesn't make any sense,
Doesn't
right?
make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. Okay, so this person though is saying, hey, it's supposed to be a 10-day wait. They made me wait 30. Now the law in California, I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice, but basically the gist of the law in California says it's a 10-day wait, but we can make you wait up to 30 if we haven't been able to determine anything yet. Mm-hmm. So they're so backlogged in the DOJ that they got like, I don't know, 2 people when they should have 57 people,
Right.
and they don't care. It's not like they're going to put more resources into that. If it were a priority of theirs, if it were a some kind of vegan board or an LGBT board or a homeless board or something like that, then they do it. But it's not. It has to do with guns, so they don't care.
Can they give him his guns in a shorter period of time?
So here's the deal. So basically, it says you have 10 to 30 days. So if the store doesn't hear from them, then at 30 days they have the choice. They can either release the firearm or not release the firearm.
The store does.
The store. Now, there are basically 3 ways to go. Stores have 3 ways to go on this. The 3 policies I've generally seen is one, stores will say, no, it's too much liability on us. We're not going to release it until the state says we absolutely can. So that's option 1. Option 2 is I've seen stores say, yep, 30 days. As soon as we can, we're going to release it to you. So
on a time frame, not being told that I can release it, but if the 30 days hits, then we can choose to
Correct.
give you your gun.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you're a prohibited person, if there's something wrong, you're a prohibited
They'll
person.
know within 10 days.
They'll know.
Well, you
pretty
know within
immediately.
the first 5 seconds.
So within 10 to 30 days, if they don't know yet, come on. Now, here's option 3, though, that I've seen a few stores do. If it comes, it's 30 days, they haven't heard from the DOJ yet, and they've done business with you in the past, then they'll release the gun. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, hey, this is Bob. Bob's, purchased a gun for me before. We know he's not a prohibited person, so we're going to release the gun.
So the dealer or the gun dealer can vouch for the purchaser.
Well, what it is the gun dealer can say, hey, I've done business with him in the past.
So they can vouch for him.
Yeah, they can say, hey, I feel comfortable enough to release this firearm.
And then that would push them to...
They just release it, just like you're good to go. You're normal.
Right.
Now, but his question was why? And that is, I can't really, the most likely scenario, there may be something in his background. I doubt it. But
who knows?
The most likely is, the reason why is that they don't have enough personnel and they don't care about your gun rights.
Well, it sounds like he's bought more than one gun in the past. And it sounds like he's probably never had a problem within the 10 day, but now all of a sudden he buys these 2 cannons.
Right.
And they're going to push him to 30 days.
Which leads me to believe that the most likely scenario is that California legislature hates us.
Yeah.
That's really all it boils down to.
Well, and how many people are buying guns now?
A ton of people are buying guns.
And maybe when he bought his first guns, we were so restricted.
Could be.
That, 10 days was a walk in the park.
Could be. But we've run into this. Guess what the solution is? There ain't one. There's not a solution.
I don't think there's a solution.
And I mean, this is not the first. This isn't our first day on this subject. We've been looking at this. We've been talking to legislators. Now, here's the thing. Well, why don't we pass a law? Okay, who? Well, Joe Bob, Republican, who's my Second Amendment buddy. Okay, how's he going to get that law passed?
Yeah.
I was just listening to. He's a San Diego County gun owners endorsed candidate. He's the mayor in Vista. His name's John Franklin. He did an interview, went up to Sacramento, and they tried to pass a law prohibiting homeless folks from setting up like an encampment, or like a little hut, whatever they do, setting up some kind of tent or whatever within, I think it was 500 yards of a school, something like that, because some of these schools have become dangerous. So you send your kids to a place to learn, and it's surrounded by, crazy people and drug addicts who are homeless. Right. So he said, hey, look, here's what we want to do. We want to just make sure that they're not within 500 yards of a school, and then we have some programs that we can shove them through to help them, get help if they need help medically or whatever. They said no. In fact, it didn't make it out of committee, and one of the people who opposed it is a Democratic legislator. And she said, "Oh, you're just trying to make homeless people invisible, and we're not going to discriminate against you because you're experiencing homelessness or however they phrase it these days." Okay, so do you really think that if they won't pass that they're going to pass some kind of legislation that has to do with people, trying to get their guns out of jail, quicker.
And wouldn't you agree that if this particular individual wants those guns for whatever reason, if he starts pushing the issue, would make his situation even worse? No.
In fact, good question. But what we've found is if you contact Brian Jones' office, Senator Brian Jones, State Senator Brian Jones, they actually have a system in place where they send in an inquiry, and they swear, oh no, it doesn't. We don't do anything, but they swear that it doesn't help, but it seems to help. So
Brian Jones,
Senator Brian Jones, I don't have his contact info, but they have a whole system
easy
set
to
up.
find.
Okay, how much time we got? You got
about another 10, about 5 minutes.
Okay, so Core, right? The belt people, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
they're awesome. I wear their belts. I have a black one and a brown one. I wear them one or the other every single day.
Yeah.
They're right here in La Mesa.
Yeah,
we've been there. You've been there.
Yeah,
I've been there.
They even put my buckle on for me.
They put your buckle on for you
because I couldn't do it.
That's nice.
It's too hard. Did you do yours?
I did mine like a big boy.
I couldn't do it. I said, "Will you please put my buckle on?"
I even so they give you an extra long belt and then you size it and then put it on there for you. You can do that. Wow.
So they fixed me up.
That's good. Wonderful, wonderful folks. They came out with a watch.
And wouldn't you know, they'd give it to you.
So I'm going to do some my own gear review. So not right now. What I want to show people, it comes in this cool little ammo box, which is already a good start.
Right.
And I opened it up. I just opened this thing up just minutes ago.
It'd be a better review if there was two.
Well, why? What do you mean?
Well,
two? Oh, because why? You want a free watch too?
Well, of course. I love that. I love watch.
Everything that watch right there was free.
No, I paid for that.
Oh, did you? All right, never mind.
Don't start with me.
So this is a good-looking watch.
It is a good-looking watch.
This is a good-looking watch. Now, I got to tell you, but the cool thing is, I don't know much about the history of the watch. I'm going to look that up, and I'll have that for you.
Why do we have them call in? We can talk about it.
Well, because I'm going to do the gear review, Dave.
Yeah, but you don't know anything about it.
Because I haven't done the gear review yet. Where
are you going to get the gear review?
I'm going to actually do it. There's a manual in here.
You're going to read
There's the internet.
Wouldn't it be easier if we just called them up and tell them to call?
Right now, I'm showing people the watch. So this is the watch. But here's the cool thing. So the cool thing about Core is that ratchet thing, right? So you can.
I hate the one I got. These kind.
Right.
I hate that kind.
With the little button. So
because my wrist is not chubby enough.
So it works just like their belts. See that?
Look at that.
There you go.
Okay, that's definitely
Boom.
Rich.
So here's the thing, man. This is really cool. I have like a 9. My wrist is over 9 inches
at least.
Over 9 inches. It's like almost 9. It's like 9 1/8.
Will it even fit around?
It does.
Well, then you bet. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
I just put it on.
I don't think you did.
So the cool thing about this, so it's really difficult for me to fit, and I know a lot of people who have small wrists, and it's really difficult for them. This is a godsend. This thing is an absolute godsend that you can adjust this thing. The other thing about watch bands that people don't really think a lot about is your wrist is a different size in the summer than it is in the winter.
What?
Yeah. Temperature changes. You get a little more, your activity changes. You get a little bit more liquid in you. You swell, you don't swell, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know much about this watch other than it looks really, really cool. I can't wait to try it. It looks awesome. The size is perfect. The concept is awesome. But this literature, look at this little booklet. This booklet is neat. It comes in a little ammo box. I'm already impressed.
Oh.
The other thing I like is it's not digital. I don't really like digital watches.
Yeah, but you know what else?
What?
What
else?
Well, because you pull it to adjust it, and look how nice that looks.
That does look nice. So, I think next week we're gonna have the
Core guys on.
No, I'm gonna do a gear review. I don't know what this is either. It's the Ronda StarTech movement.
See, this is why we have them call in.
Well, I got to do my gear review first. All right. Anyway, there we go. Give me my watch back.
No way, dude. And it's light.
It is. I'm very impressed.
It's not like wearing a goddamn spare tire like you put around your wrist.
I like my spare tire.
No, this is really rich.
It's not small either. I think that's got to be about I'm thinking that's about a 42. No, I think it's pretty bigger than that. It's probably like a 44.
Hey, if you're a gun owner and you need legal protection, even if you do everything right, even if you're 100% justified, you should be prepared for the legal battle after your self-defense battle. That's why you need firearms legal protection. When you join, you get uncapped legal protection for self-defense. For civil and criminal cases with a 24/7 hotline, joining is real easy. Just go to firearmslegal.com and click on Become a Member. Use code GOR for a discount. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing that you are protected if you are ever involved in a self-defense incident. Firearmslegal.com and use discount code GOR.
So, Dave, we got a big announcement coming up.
What do you got?
This is kind of a preview to the big announcement.
What's that?
So we're announcing the announcement.
What's the announcement?
The announcement is we're going to talk about GUNPROM this year. GUNPROM's coming up on October 12th.
But I heard you're doing a different flair to it this year.
It is. Everything's different. It's kind of GUNPROM version 2.0, which I'm very, very excited about.
Okay.
GUNPROM is we're doing things very, very. I'm not even sure where to start, but it's going to be at the Omni La Costa, which is Carlsbad area, right off the 5. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's a beautiful.
Oh,
venue.
yeah.
Beautiful venue. And GUNPROM, of course, you can see all the details. We don't have all the details posted, but we will on gunprom.com. So anytime you have questions, go to gunprom.com and we'll make sure we have all the answers up, or just email us. We'll make sure to answer. So GUNPROM this year is a little different. In years past, you've sponsored a table or got on a table with somebody. Maybe you went halvesies on a table. We had individual tickets, but most people went the table route. And you were assigned to a table, and they put a plate of food in front of you, and there were a lot of speakers. Of course, we had our raffle. We had our firearms raffle. You could go and purchase tickets, your raffle tickets. We had a silent auction, and we had a couple other things going on that were typically a lot of fun. We had a bar or whatever. This year, we're going to do it a little different. We're not going to have tables. It's not going to be set up like that. It's going to be individual tickets. 2 types of tickets. There's a regular ticket that gets you in the door. There is a VIP ticket that comes with some extra perks. The regular ticket, everybody, VIP and regular tickets, you're going to get a $100 chip. Now, what does the $100 chip get you?
Right.
So this year, GUNPROM is casino night. So rather than a bunch of dinner tables, we're going to have a bunch of gaming tables. Now, you're going to be plenty of places for you to sit. If you need to sit down and rest, not a problem. We're going to have, rather than a big, plated dinner where you sit down and you eat the dinner, we're going to have past hors d'oeuvres. We're going to have a bar. We're going to have coffee. We're going to have dessert for everybody. We're still going to have a silent auction. But all night you're going to get to play all of your favorite games, including poker, including craps, including a Wheel of Fortune, all the fun things. You're basically going to walk in with a $100 chip, and you're going to be at the coolest, funnest casino that you've ever been in, and you're going to have plenty of time to play. You can buy more chips if you need to buy more chips. Now, what do you do with the chips?
Yeah, what do you do with the chips?
So let's say you buy $100 worth of chips. You get your chip, right? You buy another $100 worth of chips. Now you have $200 worth of chips.
Okay.
Now let's say you actually, let me back up. We give you a $100 chip, and then let's say you go play, and then you lose your $100. Now you can go.
How do you, when you say play, are you going to have like casino? Are you going to have a roulette wheel?
We're going to have the whole. It's casino.
It's going to look
night.
like a casino.
It's going to look like a casino. So you're going to have poker, craps, roulette, Wheel of Fortune, all the fun stuff. All the fun stuff.
You're not going to have baccarat.
I don't know. So what you're going to do is, like, let's say you lose your chip.
Okay.
Now you got no chips.
Right.
You can go buy another chip. Okay, for $100 gets you another $100 chip.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's say you take that chip and you run it up to $500.
Okay.
Right. You get on the craps table and you hit a heater.
Right.
And you win $500.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah. So you take that $500 and then you go turn that into raffle tickets, and boom, you can win guns, just like you know.
Then you take your raffles and stick them in the boxes,
little buckets, right, for whatever gun you'd like to win.
You have to buy $100 worth. Or can you buy $10 worth?
I don't know, but the point is, you buy chips and then you can buy raffle tickets. So casino night, a lot of fun. Now let's say, gee, Mike, I've never played craps. I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't either.
The company that we've hired, their entire purpose, the entire point of what they do is to teach people who've never never gambled before. So if you've never been to a casino, you've never tried roulette, you've never tried craps before, that's okay. Mm-hmm. The dealers are going to help you out, and they're going to make sure that you have a really fun time. Plus, we're going to have a magician walking around doing stuff. We're going to have our silent auction. We'll have a couple of speakers, but it's not going to be like a speaker-centric
like it was at the gun show.
No.
Oh, I'm thinking of symposium. I'm sorry.
No, it's which we'll have a couple of speakers here and there.
Gotcha.
But it's not going to be like, guest speakers, that fill up, a couple hours. The main thing is to go have fun on the casino tables. Gotcha. VIP tickets, we're going to set up a speakeasy. So the speakeasy is you're going to get a special gift. So basically it's a separate room. You know what a remember speakeasy back in the 30s? You know what that is?
No idea what you're
Okay, so back
I do too. It's where you get a illegal drink.
Right, exactly. It's where back when they had prohibition.
Yeah. A special knock.
Right, exactly. So if your VIP ticket gets you entry to our speakeasy, which is a special lounge. You'll get a drink. We're going to come up with a proprietary drink.
Moonshine.
We're gonna get a special gift, and you're gonna get to hobnob with some of the highfalutins and VIPs.
It's going to be a special closed-off room.
It's going to be a special closed-off room, exactly.
And
just like a
special knock to get you in.
I don't know if we're going to password or not. Yeah, we're going to have fun.
Have fun with it.
So that's what GUNPROM looks like. It's individual tickets $175. A VIP ticket is $250, and that gets you all the fun for all the night. And again, every ticket comes with a $100 chip.
Could you bring a Tommy gun?
Do you have one?
I think I'm going to get one.
I think that'd be great. I think you should dress up in like a fedora,
or
a zoot suit.
Oh, I could get all
and a Tommy gun.
Everyone's going, you see, yeah.
See, he's coming.
So it's going to be a very good time. The venue is beautiful and awesome. The casino is awesome.
Are you going to feed us?
Like I said, so there's not going to be a plate of food in front of you. We're going to have past hors d'oeuvres all night, plus dessert, plus coffee. So it'll be a great time. You'll get food, you'll get drink, you'll have fun, and everything will of course benefit a really great cause, which is San Diego County Gun Owners. And I think we're probably going to figure out how to make sure that Not Me benefits from it as well, or Not Me CA or 501.
I think it'd be fun, and especially
maybe
even have a dress up contest.
Something, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and we want everybody to, the reason for this segment is we want to be able to explain that it's all different, because I'm already getting people saying, hey, I need to buy a champagne table. Well, no champagne tables this year. We're doing everything a little bit different, and we're going to make that announcement within the next couple of weeks.
Should be fun.
Yes, yep. So keep your eye on gunprom.com. Take a look at our email. I don't know if it's going to be this Thursday's email or next Thursday's email. We'll have a big announcement. Mm-hmm. So keep your eye on the email and check it out.
But Should be fun.
Yeah, I wanted to take time in this segment and really explain.
I like the fact that you're mixing and matching the GUNPROM. I mean, because not that all the ones in the past have been phenomenal. I mean, they really have. I mean, but it's kind of nice to mix it up a little bit.
There you go. Mix it up. Do something a little different. Right. The other reason is pricing has gone through the roof. I mean, you go to these hotels. We were talking about it earlier, like we were saying at the first segment. Yeah. You were saying that breakfast was $30 or whatever, right? $20.
27 actually.
So we had to figure out a way. Hey, how do we do a fundraiser that's still a whole lot of fun, but it doesn't break the bank?
I have an idea.
What's that?
Ever thought of a harbor cruise?
I don't. It'd have to be like an aircraft carrier. I mean, just 700-800 people, Dave.
They've got some ships down there. I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, show me the ship with 700-800 people, and we'll do it.
Here's an aircraft carrier right now.
Well, we did. We actually had the first GUNPROM was on the USS
But I mean, wouldn't it be fun if we did a harbor cruise and it had enough people?
let's see what we can do about that.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Rich, not doing anything.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's $175 ticket, $250 VIP ticket. That's something that every gun owner can afford.
Well, yeah. Instead of coming up with a table,
Right.
Heck, I can even do that.
There you go. We do have party packs where you can buy 10 tickets at a discount. So you and
So you'll have everything all lined up.
Have it all lined up. We want to make it easy for you. We want to make it fun for you. We want to make it accessible to everyone, no matter what your economic situation is, no matter what your budget is. We want to make sure that you can afford to come have fun with us.
I think it'd be a blast.
So you know what we need to match the theme of the night?
What?
I know what you're going to say,
Here
Dave.
it comes.
Here it comes.
Okay, Bubbles, what do you got?
Elvis impersonator.
That's you, man. I thought you were going to do that.
No. I can't do the curling lip. My wife can do the curling lip. I can't do the curling lip.
They'd be like a his and her Vegas or Elvis impersonator.
This is Roaring 20s. This isn't Elvis.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so we need elephants.
Actually, Elvis fits right in with like a casino theme. It's not a bad. It's actually a really good idea.
Oh, geez, don't give him that. No. You didn't say I was a good idea.
I want you, Brendan. I want you and your wife to dress up as Elvis and come and be Elvis impersonators.
Well, if we're doing 20s, can we do the Rat Pack maybe instead?
We can do that too.
And you got to bring the Sprout.
I don't think I'm allowed to. Can I bring the 8-month-old Russell?
Sure.
Oh, never mind then. Okay.
He's not 8 months old yet.
You know what? By the end of the night, that kid's going to be on the table. He's going to be run out of money. He's like, this is it. This is my shot.
Next.
Oh, no. With a kid, you need to dress up as the Hangover guy with the baby.
Oh, yeah.
Zach
Carlos?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You guys are out of control. Hey, if you're a gun owner, you need legal protection. Even if you do everything right, even if you're 100% justified, you should be prepared for the legal battle after your self-defense battle. That's why you need firearms legal protection. When you join, you get uncapped legal protection for self-defense for civil or criminal cases with a 24/7 hotline. Joining is easy. Just go to firearmslegal.com and click on Become a Member. Use code GOR for a discount. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing that you are protected if you are ever involved in a self-defense incident.
All right, subscribe and win. Subscribe to our email list and win some swag. This week's winner is Barbara Luckhart. That might be Luckhart, Lukeheart. Barbara, congratulations either way. Please email us at prizes@gunownersradio.com to claim your T-shirt or your hat. If you want a T-shirt, ensure success by telling us what size T-shirt you would like. So if you want to win some cool stuff, go to gunownersradio.com, sign up for our newsletter, and we will keep you up to date on everything Second Amendment that's going on here in San Diego and in Southern California and pretty much all of California. So check us out. All right, Dave, we got a cool guest.
Who you got?
This is his name's Drago Dzieran. I'm going to have to get him to correct me on the pronunciation of his last name. I think I got it right. Dzieran. Drago immigrated to the United States from Poland in 1984. He became a U.S. citizen in 1991 and enlisted in the Navy the same year. Drago joined the SEAL teams and performed over 100 combat direct action missions as a naval special warfare lead breacher while deployed in Iraq in 2003, 2004, and 2005. You can read more about Drago at www.dragodzieran, that's DragoDzerian.com.
That's DZIERAN.
DZIER. My apologies.
Think nothing of it.
Okay, so Drago and his wife, Rachel, founded the Navy SEALs Fund, and they work tirelessly to support their SEAL team brothers and their families, committed to continuing the brotherhood beyond the battlefield. Drago, are you there?
Yes, absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll tell you what, could you do me a huge favor? Spell and pronounce your last name so that people who want to go to your website get it correct.
Oh, okay. It's Drago, D as a Delta, Zieran, Dzieran, DragoDzieran.com. Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show.
You bet. What an interesting story. You know, I think it's fascinating. People don't really know. I don't think Americans really truly know the history of Poland and how bad it got in the 80s, and especially I know there's actually a fairly large Polish community here in San Diego. Now, did you spend time here in San Diego when you were a SEAL?
For around 3 years, when I was SEAL instructor in Naval Special Warfare Center in San Diego, yes.
There are a lot of.
I like San Diego.
Yeah, it's beautiful. There's a thriving Polish immigrant community here, and I've had the pleasure of meeting a few and talking about what it was like. Can you talk a little bit about what made you leave Poland and come to the United States?
Well, I was born, like you say earlier, in a communist country behind Iron Curtain, and I grew up in the totalitarian socialist country run by communists like my father. My father was high-ranking communist in Polish communist government. I just would like to make one note here that none of the, contrary to popular beliefs, none of the countries, Eastern European countries behind Iron Curtain were ever communist countries. They were socialist states run by communists like my father. Not even Soviet Union was a full communist country, socialist state. But socialists, they believe that the communists believe that socialism is necessary as a stepping stone to communism. So I was born after I grew up, and of course, most of the people know the atrocities and the danger of living in totalitarian system that control every aspect of your life, and so. Eventually, I end up as a political prisoner in communist prison. So it was after the communists declared martial law in Poland. I was eventually able to escape and immigrate to the United States in 1984. Like you said earlier, in 1991, I became U.S. citizen. By that time, I was already well established in America. My life was awesome, and this is when First Persian War broke out. And I believe that I, as an American citizen, this is my moral obligation to support my country the best I can, and I decided to join military. It happens to be a Navy. And eventually I applied for SEAL training. I was given the honor and permit to attend the SEAL training. I graduated from Class 185 and joined my first SEAL team was SEAL Team 2, the next SEAL Team 4, and eventually I ended up as a SEAL instructor at Naval Special Warfare Center, Coronado in California.
That's an enormous story, Drago. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions about all that. Okay, so you made a very interesting. There are actually three terms I wanted to ask you about. You mentioned socialism, you mentioned communism, you mentioned totalitarianism, and
yes.
you said that your country wasn't a communist country; it was a socialist country run by communists. How would you? Yes. I think a lot of people. And then, of course, like you said, I know that communist theory is basically the original theory was that as humanity, as people progress, they grow into communism and they make a couple of stops along the way. One of them is socialism. How would you distinguish? How would you explain to somebody? How would you explain to an American what the difference between socialism and communism is? Yes.
So, unlike in communism. In socialism, Poland was socialist, just like the Soviet Union and Czechoslovakia, Eastern Germany, any other country. You can have a business. You own the business. But there is a big but about it because government will control. They will control your business and you with it. So if they decide that you are inconvenient to the government, they will attack you. They will shut your business down. They will make a criminal out of you. They will destroy your business. And it actually happened. I described in my book, The Pledge to America, what happened to my uncle who actually created a business, a successful business in Poland. They were so successful that start competing with the government businesses in this venue, and also with businesses of proteges of communists in Polish government. So the first they send, and this is how they control you. They destroy you. They brand you criminal. They say your business is fraudulent and is wrong, and you are fraud. And if that doesn't help, they will sue you. They will put you to court on fake, fraudulent charges. And in case of my uncle, they send the groups like they called themselves anti-fascist and anti-Nazis. But they were just group of indoctrinated people, mostly college students and factory workers, and they physically attack my uncle. They destroy his factory. Eventually, they burn his truck. So he was a bricklayer. He was creating bricks.
Drago, I'll tell you what. Let's finish this on the other side of the commercial. But this is fascinating. So I'm looking forward to talking about this. It's absolutely fascinating.
Hey, Not Me is for women, by women, and is designed to help women with training, purchasing a gun, and getting a concealed carry permit. And guess what? It's totally free. Not the gun, but the training is totally free. And if you're a woman or you know a woman who needs help, have her sign up and we'll give her the help she needs. Sign up today. Go to notmesd.org.
Okay, we're talking to Drago. Drago was a SEAL. He also came to the United States from Poland. You were just telling us that the difference between basically all the countries behind the Iron Curtain were socialist countries run by communists. They weren't true communists. And you were saying that under socialism, you can own a business, but it's so heavily regulated that the government can decide to do whatever they want, including put you out of business. And the interesting thing, Drago, is you were saying that how they do that is they basically label you as undesirable. They call you a fascist or a Nazi, and then they send a bunch of students after you, and eventually you get shut down, possibly beat up, or maybe even jailed. That's fascinating, and the reason that's fascinating is because it feels like I'm seeing this happen today. Did I recap that all accurately, Drago?
Yes, but there's a couple of things that need to be added to it, because there are certain characteristics of socialist state that whether it is Cuba, it was socialist Poland, or Soviet Union, and those markers are heavy censorship, fraudulent election, of course, the attacks on faith, on family values, on moral values. This is very important because if you take away the family and moral values, it results in basically depravity, perversion, and debauchery, and society without moral values is easy to manipulate, pervert, and mold into acceptance of evil ideology as communism and socialism. So we call it, behind the Iron Curtain, we used to call it relative morality, that your morality was not based on faith or something that is immutable, was based in politician, it was based in politician views or ideology. And we know how that worked out in another socialist country, Adolf Hitler socialist state. That was socialist state. People just do not understand that whether this national socialism, Polish socialism, is German socialism, or any other form of socialism. They are very dangerous ideology, and they subscribe to those. They have the same things in common as just listed them.
So how did you become? You described yourself as a political prisoner. How did you become a political prisoner?
So, because the economy in Poland at that time was so ruined, so bad. Of course, if you listen to fake news media in Poland, in communist Poland at the time, it was 1970s, 1960s, after Second World War, you would only hear how great the economy is, like everybody has an awesome life, and the shortages in food, clothes, almost everything were due to because people were making too much money, because the economy was so strong that basically people were buying too much. So they had to be limited, and this is why the coupons for food were implemented too. So that's how eventually people revolt. Actually, people revolt in socialist state every 6 or 4 years, whether it is 1950, 1956, 1976. This is where government were shooting to Poles, to Polish citizens, and killing them because they rebelled, because they protested. Every protest or every opposition to socialist state was immediately branded insurrection and was branded that people protesting were trying to overthrow government by force. But please remember, you cannot have insurrection. Insurrection cannot happen if people are disarmed, if people have only flags and flags. You cannot create insurrection waving flags and hands or protesting the ideology. But they were branded insurrectionists and traitors to Poland.
They were branded insurrectionists. Again, a lot of Drago. I'm being totally honest here. Are you explaining this in such a way so that people draw similarities, draw parallels to modern politics, to what's been going on in California and the United States for the last 4 or 5 years? Do you understand what I'm saying there?
No, I don't. We are not socialist state yet. We just need to make sure that we will not become one, and we are close. And I don't describe the similarities. I describe the life and her characteristics.
That's fascinating.
Living in the evil communist socialist state.
So what led to you? You said you were a political prisoner, right? What do you mind? What led to? What are the details that led to that?
Yes. So eventually, Poles were able to fight certain independence from Communist Party, and eventually the Communist Party socialists started losing grip on these organizations. I'm talking specifically about Solidarity, the trade union, which eventually became more like a social movement.
Yeah.
So in 1980, on December 13, communists like my father, they imposed martial law. So in one night, they were preparing the martial law for years. So they have the list of people to arrest. So on December 13 at midnight, they started raiding the apartments, homes, and the workplaces in entire Poland. Within an hour, there are different estimates. From 25 to 60,000 people were arrested from that list. Who were not on the list, and just I was not on the list, my mom was. But eventually they started arresting also people who were not on the list. I was one of them. I was involved in printing independent newspaper. It was more like a leaflet than newspaper. It had 2 pages. We basically listed people who were arrested there. We tried to tell their families what happened to them, where they may be, because they were in internment camps, which were created by communist state. So eventually they track us down. Please remember, information is the most dangerous thing to communists, to socialist state. So they track us down very quick. I was arrested for this, those articles. I forgot which. It is all of it is described in my book and on my website. So. I was arrested for trying to overthrow communist government by force, disobeying martial law, and distributing anti-communist propaganda. I received 3 years prison sentence.
Now, you've talked about, you said that your father was a communist leader. Does that mean that you two were on the opposite end of the of this issue?
Yes. Basically, he left us when I was 7 years old. I only knew that my father was there. At one point, when I was, I think, 14 years old, because we were so poor, it was 3 of us at home and my mom, they had to send me to my father to live with him, but I didn't last long. I just could not listen. But, I learned a lot, too, because I could have a peek behind the curtain of communism and socialism workings. So my father used to say that if people do not, those people who don't want to subscribe to socialist ideology, they need to be isolated, they need to be cancelled, or so I say, what if that doesn't work? Well, then is a present time. If that doesn't work, we will have to physically eliminate these people. Those are words coming from my father, one of the leading figures in Communist Party in Poland. So this is very dangerous thinking. And please remember, in Poland, communists murdered thousands of people since Second World War when Poland became socialist state. And even today, what people don't know here, even today, the people in Poland are still finding mass graves of victims of socialist regime, people quietly executed, murdered, people who disappeared. So that's
crazy.
But this is very characteristic to socialist state, because they will not sustain themselves without terror and without fear. So they need to use it, and they need to terrorize society.
Well, it is. One of the things I tell I'm in the political world, and we do a lot, of course, regarding the Second Amendment and politics in general. But one of the things I like to I don't want to say correct people, but I want to change their thought. They tend to talk about the government. Well, the government is doing this. The government does that. The government is your neighbors. This isn't some group of mysterious men that nobody. I mean, these are your neighbors. Your neighbors are the ones that served in the Communist Party. Your own father was one of the people that did something that ended up with you as a political prisoner. And what do you think it is about your neighbors, about the kind of the every person on the street that is attracted to communism or severe socialism, or even more accurately, applying totalitarianism to their communist and socialist beliefs?
Well, first thing is, please remember fraudulent election. And they happened from the very beginning of communists coming to Poland in 1944, during and right after the Second World War. So they will select people, and with fraudulent elections, there is really not much you can say. But also, please remember that every society will have a certain margin to easy to manipulate with criminal minds. They will accept anything just to be in power, whether it is communist, socialist Poland or socialist Germany of Adolf Hitler. You can see most of the people did not support National Socialist Party, but enough did that the people were able to be ruled by these people, to take control of the country, of the Germany, of Poland. And there is a certain technique to do it. They gain control of special services, the secret police and military and intelligence. Once they have control of it, it's very difficult to people to free themselves. I would like to make a point that if the technology that we have today existed during 1970s, 1980s, Poland most likely still would be a socialist state under the boot of communists.
Wow.
Communist Party.
All right, let's do it. Drago, let's do one more commercial here, and then I want to continue this conversation. Absolutely fascinating.
Totally. Hey, do you belong to an association, a club, or other organizations wrestling with their marketing? Well, most organizations waste a lot of money on marketing because it's so tough. Managing everything, websites, social media, e-commerce, emails, and the list goes on. Leave frustration behind with Sage Tree's Fractional Marketing Department. Services, that's the name of it. They take care of everything. Planning, development, advertising, and a whole lot more. Getting started's real easy. Visit sagetree.com, click on the Schedule an Appointment button. That's sagetree.com, and click on the Schedule an Appointment button.
Okay, so Drago, how did you said you escaped. You were able to get out of being a political prisoner. How did that happen?
Well, eventually, when I was released from prison, I was trying to find a job. I was trying to make a living. But what happened is I was quite often kidnapped from the street. Sometimes I was coming by with my friends, training kickboxing, and police, civilian car pulled next to our group. They secret police with uniform police jumped out of the cars, and they just handcuffed me, throw me in the car, and drove me around the town for 2, 3, 4, sometimes 6 hours, and just driving in and out of the town, driving to different forests, out of town fields. So eventually I decided possible maybe one day I may not come back from such escapade.
Yeah, this was like they were intimidating you. That was the idea?
Yeah. Not only me, but they try to intimidate also people around. See, like, look what will happen to you if you oppose socialism or our ideology or our ideals. So eventually I decided to get into American embassy. I did. I asked for help, and I was provided help, and I was provided the promise that I will be able to settle in the United States. So the United States, they purchased my tickets to the United States, and eventually I made my way to Germany, to Memphis, Tennessee, when I started my life in America.
Wow. Now, what motivated you to join the Navy?
Well, that was my moral obligation. I believe that it is moral obligation of every American citizen to support America. And in my case, I just became American citizen when the war broke out, the First Persian War. So like I said earlier, my intention was never to serve 20 years. My intention was to go to war and fight on behalf of America and American people. So I volunteered, and
wait.
I never expect to stay 20 years.
Wait. So you joined? You joined the Navy in '91?
Yes.
So and then you went through BUDS, and you must have been. Were you?
I was 33 years old. Yes.
You were 33 and you made it through BUDS? That's crazy. I mean,
I think one of the oldest, few oldest people who made through BUDS and into the SEAL teams in this age. That's yes. But
Congratulations.
I appreciate that honor and that permission to join the Navy, and I appreciate the opportunity to fight on behalf of America and American people.
And now in 1990,
great honor to me.
I got to tell you, the Navy was better for having you. I got to tell you, what an amazing story. So in '91, how did you? Well, I guess '91 was. Charlie Sheen's movie had already come out. I was going to ask, how did you know about the SEAL teams, or how did that come about when you enlisted in the Navy? How did you know to be a SEAL?
I didn't. My intention was not to be a Navy SEAL. My intention was to join the effort, the war effort of America, and help American people. So I didn't know much about the Navy SEALs at the time. I was skydiving. And while I was processing into the Navy, my idea was that I will just go wherever America needs me. I will fight the war, and after war, I will come back and resume my life. It was great, that was great at the time. But as a skydiving instructor at the time, I was AFF jump master, actually. I met Navy SEALs who came to Memphis to do demonstrational jumps, and they talked me out of joining the Army because I put my paperwork to Army first. I didn't understand the distinction between Army, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard. For me, it was just Army, just military.
Yeah.
So I went to Army. But when I met Navy SEALs at my airport where we were skydiving, they talked me into changing my request and joined the Navy, and I did so. I'm glad I did, but it didn't matter for me where I was serving as long as I had the privilege to serve America.
That's very cool. What was the best part about being a SEAL? What did you enjoy the most?
I think the most is the camaraderie and the training that we receive. It's very intense, but it's very precise. It's awesome. and also having the honor to fight on behalf of America.
No, that's awesome. What a fascinating story. Now, I got to tell you, going into the interview, I wasn't quite sure what part of your story. There's so much to you to cover. I wasn't quite sure what direction we were going to go. I'm really glad
book.
Well, I highly recommend people read the book for sure. If people want to find your book, where do they go?
Barnes and Noble's, Books A Million, or on Amazon, The Pledge to America by Drago Dzieran.
Pledge to America. Okay, so because we covered so much on the political side, what do you hope people take away from this interview, or what advice do you have for Americans, looking at the next 30 years? I think we're living in one of the most controversial times in American history. I think that we're so divided. People are so flared up on both sides. It's like you can't even have a political conversation anymore. Everything's a fight. Everything's a debate. And it's not even a debate. I wish we could have debates. Everything's a fight. Everything's to the death, and it's just so contentious and so brutal. And what advice do you have for people, or what do you think people should take away from reading your book or take away from this interview?
Well, I think I see a lot that people are not listening to understand. They just listen to give a quick, sometimes ugly answer to somebody they don't agree with. And it would, I think, help a lot if we actually listen to understand what the other side has to say. Besides, this is not at this point, this is not this is not Republicans against Democrats. We are all Americans. But I think this is evil. It is good against evil. There are certain moral things that are being thrown on our society that are actually immoral, perversion and depravity. And we need to be courageous to stand up and talk about it and argue our moral values. It's not enough to hide people hiding behind the screen and keyboard and typing their things away. That means nothing. We need to be able to talk about, have a courage to face the immoral people and immoral ideologies. And this is important that we do it openly, not hiding behind a computer screen.
Talk about somebody who's put their money where their mouth is when it comes to fighting for what you believe in. So
nothing wrong with writing on the computer and stuff, but also back it up with your words and your actions.
There you go. I talk about our organization, San Diego County Gun Owners, is all about activism, and I talk a lot about what activism is and what it isn't, and sharing memes on Facebook. That's slacktivism, not activism. So I right there with you. Totally agree. Now, San Diego County Gun Owners, we're, of course, a Second Amendment organization. We're nonpartisan. We're single issue. That's all we talk about is Second Amendment. Gun Owners Radio, we're all about Second Amendment. What are your views on the Second Amendment, or what would you like to say about the Second Amendment, considering your experiences?
Well, first, when you think about it, look at the socialist states run by communists, where people were disarmed and then subjugated for decades. So it is very important, but it's also not only important to defend our values and ideas, but also for self-defense. If you think that, with all utmost respect to our police officers, but if you count that police officer will come on time when you are being robbed or killed, sometimes you may not live to see that intervention. So it is very important that you are armed. The only thing what I would like to make a note here, I would like to make a note that you can't overthrow our government no matter how well you are armed. And you shouldn't be even thinking like this. Our enemies are just waiting for violence to happen so they can actually disarm you. Just thinking that, hey, I have all arsenal of arms, all my neighbor they have all the weapons that somebody can only imagine. They will do nothing to you because when they decide to confiscate your guns, they will come to your home first. They will have a SWAT teams on your doorsteps, helicopters flying around. And do you think that your neighbors will come out and shoot out with police? No, that most likely they will sit peeking out to the curtain and see what happened to you, and saying quietly that they hope these people will not come for them. They will. So the best way to protect Second Amendment is not to threaten people, but the best to vote. And you make sure you vote for the right person. Just for somebody who looks nice and talks nicely doesn't mean anything. You need to check the background and what these people were voting before, what are their moral values, and then vote for them. You cannot win this fight with guns. The only way you can protect Second Amendment is by voting right, by knowing who you are voting for.
Couldn't have said it better. What an awesome message. What a fascinating story. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. This was really, really one of my favorite interviews.
And what was the name of the book again?
The Pledge to America.
The Pledge to America by Drago Dzieran.
All right. Drago, I think I'm going to Pledge to America. Please check it out. Buy his book. I got to tell you, Drago, I think we're going to need to have you come back on. There's a lot more to talk about. What a fascinating story. Thank you for everything you've done.
Thank
you. And thank you for writing your book. Thank you for supporting folks with your foundation, and thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hey, if you want gear at an affordable price, check out Condor Outdoors. Whether you're a military professional, a law enforcement officer, or simply an avid outdoorsman, Condor products are designed to be versatile, durable, and above all, reliable. So if you're looking for the best in tactical gear, look no further than Condor Outdoor. Use code GOR for a 15% off on the website. That's CondorOutdoor.com. Use code GOR for that 15% discount.
I'm still thinking about that interview.
That was just
I'm fascinated.
mind-boggling.
I'm fascinated.
Well, he's coming from a place we're going to end up if we don't get our act together.
They couldn't have put it better. I mean, I was seriously going, everything he's saying is happening here. It's just 30,
and
40
we're
years
not,
later.
And we're not listening.
Not
not
enough people
listening at
aren't
all.
listening. I got to tell you.
And all the people that are, you see, and the funny thing is, and it'd been fun to ask him, you ran away from one thing, and now you're running into it.
Right. Now it's happening. Now you're watching it.
But I like the way he, I like where his attitude is.
Me too.
You got to vote him in. You got to vote him out.
Well, the other thing is he was a political prisoner for making a pamphlet, a newsletter.
But see, they could do that here too.
Well, I got to tell you, you don't think you and I would be political prisoners?
Oh, dude, I'm surprised we're still on air.
I wouldn't. I got to tell you, I would sell you out in a second.
I already did. You
be like, take this guy.
Coming.
I'd be like, take this guy. Never trust him.
No, when you go downstairs,
never trust
your
him.
Jeep is gone. You're toast.
They can have it.
See, it doesn't have air or heat.
Political prisoner. My Jeep is a political. Okay, all right. Now, time for everybody's favorite segment, Stump My Nephew. We found out years ago that Sam the Gunman, who also happens to be my nephew, is extremely good at gun trivia. So, if you send us a question and we use it on the air, we'll send you a hat or a shirt. If you stump my nephew, then we'll give you free tickets to GUNPROM, which is, of course, October 12th at the Omni La Costa. Go to gunprom.com for more details. Sam, you there?
Yeah, how are you guys?
Fantastic, man. How are you?
Oh, can't complain.
Good, because I don't want to hear it.
Oh, geez.
I'm just kidding. You know I'd listen. Okay, here we go. This is a good question. By the way, just to reiterate, we say this every once in a while, but just so people understand, you've never heard this question before, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so we don't give him the question beforehand. This is the first time you're ever hearing this.
So before you do that, I want to get this out of the way.
Okay.
You know, I keep talking about the movie Shooter.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, with
with Mark Wahlberg.
Sure.
Sam, are you a reader? Do you like to read?
Yeah.
Get the book Point of Impact. I just finished it, and it'll have you on the edge of your chair, and I think you will absolutely love it. So
now, does it come with crayons, or do you have to buy your own crayons to color?
It doesn't come with crayons, but it's by Stephen Hunter. If you were close, I'd let you borrow it, but because it's an amazing book.
What's the name of it again?
Point of impact.
Point of impact. Okay.
All
All
right,
right.
back to
Ready?
the joke.
Here we go. Okay, here's the question. John Roberts from Stockton asks, what cartridge is Elmer Keith and Clint Eastwood associated with?
John Roberts from, where was that?
Stockton. That's up in the Bay Area.
Okay, John Roberts from Stockton. Thanks very much for writing in. What cartridge is Elmer Keith and Clint Eastwood associated with? That would be, it's funny that you would mention those two names because Elmer Keith is credited with originating it, but Clint Eastwood is the one who really made it go mainstream, and that would be the 44 Magnum.
The 44 Magnum. Elmer Keith, the firearms enthusiast, developed the 357 Magnum in 1930s and then the 44 Magnum in the 1950s with Smith & Wesson and Remington. Developed as
Here's the deal with 44 Magnum.
Go for it.
So just like 357 Magnum is a hot-rodded 38 special with the case lengthened so that you couldn't accidentally drop a 357 in a 38. 44 Magnum is a much upcharged, hot-rodded 44 special. 44 special already existed.
Yep.
It's a decently potent round. Most charts, I can't quote them chapter and verse, but charts put the performance about on par with 45 ACP. So it's nothing to sneeze at. But for handgun hunters, they wanted something quite a bit more potent that could take down large North American game like moose and could be used for defense against bears and such. And so the 44 Magnum, it's just a lengthened, much higher pressure 44 special, which achieves much, much greater performance.
My understanding is it'll blow your head clean off.
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far, but it certainly sounds good when Clint Eastwood says it on the silver screen.
You know who wrote that line?
Who wrote that line?
The guy who wrote
John Milius?
John Milius wrote that line. It's exactly right.
He really?
He did. I swear to you.
That does sound like him, I have to say.
There you go.
So the reason why those movies were such a big deal for the round, other than because they're cool movies, I mean, let's be real here. But 44 Magnum really wasn't super popular. It launched with the Smith & Wesson Model 29 family. But they reportedly, and I don't have a written source I can cite for this, but by all accounts, they didn't sell super well early on. It was kind of a small volume product for obvious reasons. But then gets to be, what was it, 1977 that came out?
Something, yeah. The movie made it really go through the roof.
The movie comes out, everyone goes to watch it, even non-gun people, and they go, wow, that's so cool. Smith & Wesson Model 29 in 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world at that time.
Yeah.
Most powerful production handgun in the world at that time. And they go, oh my gosh, I got to have one. And so they flock to the gun stores. They ask for this weird, somewhat obscure revolver that's been in production for several years but hasn't sold in big numbers. Smith & Wesson catches wind of it, and they go, holy crap, we have to make more of these things. So now it's pretty much mainstream. You can still get it in the 29 and the 629, which is a stainless version. You can get Taurus revolvers in 44. You can get Ruger revolvers in 44.
Yeah.
All the big names in the revolver world make 44 Magnums now.
Yeah, my dream revolver, an Anaconda, which is a 44 Magnum.
That is one fancy gun.
I want one so
Word
bad.
on the street is, I don't know if this is true. Word on the street is they're thinking of bringing it back because they brought back
it's back.
the Python.
No,
Is it back?
Oh, now you're making me question myself. So there was a Colt guy at the Discount Gun Mart sidewalk sale, and I'm like 99% sure he definitely had a Python, brand new Python, but I'm almost positive he had an Anaconda as well.
There was a Colt guy there, so was he like panhandling?
That's rude. That's just rude. So you're exactly right. This is absolutely phenomenal. Great job. As you stated, developed as a high-powered hunting cartridge, the 44 Magnum led to the development of large-frame revolvers to handle the increased power. The cartridge's legacy as a potent hunting round, and its association with the iconic firearms like the Smith & Wesson Model 29, famously wielded in Clint Eastwood's character Dirty Harry, solidified place in firearms history and popular culture. So you know what?
For this?
What am I? Yeah.
In 2021, Colt resumed production of the Anaconda.
There you go. My Anaconda don't want none unless you got 44 Magnum on.
Okay, what caliber is it?
It's 44 Magnum.
Perfect.
We just talked about that for 4.5 minutes, Dave.
Hey, I was doing Alicia. Okay, come on.
So you know what I've noticed, and I've always kind of wondered. So a 38 special, fairly popular round. Obviously, 357, very popular round, and of course you can shoot a 38 through a 357, which is probably why I'm gonna guess that's probably one of the reasons the 38 special is continued to be popular. 44 Magnum very popular, but I've noticed that a 44 special not so popular. Am I right? Am I wrong? Or what are your thoughts on why a 44 special kind of fell by the wayside?
If I had to guess, it's because people who want a big bore revolver will just go for the 44 Magnum. People who want a high performance revolver, because remember, in a revolver, capacity is directly tied. It's a product of the caliber of the round and the size of the gun. So people who want a big bore revolver go up to a 44 Magnum. People who want a powerful revolver go for a 357 Magnum and get an extra round or an extra 2 rounds, depending on the gun, because some hold 8. And people who want something with a similar level of performance, firing a heavy, bigger than 40 caliber slug at high subsonic velocities will go for something like a 1911. You can get long slide 1911s, that sort of thing. So it's kind of in this middle ground.
It is. I was going to say it's a tweener. It's a tweener, so it kind of lost its popularity.
Hey, Sam, what's the limiting factors of the 44 Magnum cartridge?
Wrists.
Okay. It said it is not terminal ballistics.
The limiting factor is not terminal ballistics? I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
All right.
Well, terminal ballistics is what the bullet does once it hits a target, but I'm not sure what he means by that not being the limiting factor.
Yeah, it said the limiting factor of the 44 Magnum cartridge is not, it's not terminal ballistics.
All right. Well, we got to move on, but
that was fun.
One big announcement here. I hope it's okay to announce it. I'm just going to announce it.
I wouldn't.
May 12th, Sam the Gunman is going to be here live in the studio.
What?
How about that?
What?
Right,
and
Sam?
You're leaving.
No, not then, but yeah, we're gonna trade. We're gonna do one of those '80s movies where we trade places. We wake up and I'm Sam and he's me. So looking forward to seeing you here in the studio on May 12th, my friend. Excellent job.
What's the occasion?
He's just coming out.
He's gonna fly out. He's gonna fly out.
He's doing an important corporate takeover,
a
hostile corporate takeover. So he's got to be in town for that.
Governor of California.
Nice. He's coming out to San Diego. All right, man. Thank you so much, Sam. Awesome job.
Thanks. Good night.
Thanks for watching this episode from Gun Owners Radio. If you're watching mainstream media, you're not getting the truth about guns and the Second Amendment. Gun Owners Radio is the easiest way to stay on top of the Second Amendment fight, the fight for your self-defense rights. You can watch our live stream on YouTube every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, or if you're in San Diego, AM 1170, FM 96.1, The Answer. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform. Just do a search for Gun Owners Radio and you'll find our show. Don't forget to support our sponsors. Click on the links in the show notes and support the businesses that support your Second Amendment rights. Like and subscribe to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.